Measure C is the half-cent sales tax of Fresno County that helps pay for roads. But multiple groups have different ideas of what the next version should look like. And a familiar name in local politics is hoping to play the role of fixer. So on this Wired Wednesday, GV Wire senior reporter David Taub joins us live from the GV Wire studios in Fresno with more. David, good morning.
Good morning, Carl. Thanks for having me.
So if you can, remind us again what Measure C is all about.
Well, it's a sales tax that's 40 years old. You know, it was passed by voters initially in the mid-'80s, and it is a sales tax that helps pay for roads. And the cities and the county can utilize that money to get other money from state and federal. So we're talking about, $2 billion raised since the mid-'80s, and that it goes matching funds from state and federal is another $8 billion. So we're talking about 10 billion roads, according to the Measure C folks, that help pay for things like freeway expansions and other roads. But it is up for renewal again, or they hope so, next year because it expires in 2027.
So with that being said, by the way, I always feel like I see a Measure C sign somewhere across the city of Fresno, but one of the issues, what is the exact issue of voters renewing the tax?
Well, it's depending on what is going to be included specifically in the spending. The money will still be there if it passes, but there are competing groups of having competing ideas on what should be in the future of the Measure C tax. Now you have let's say the official Measure C folks, they want road spending, possible expansion, helping maintenance. But then you have this new group called Transportation for All, which is a coalition of several environmental justice groups. They want to see things more like transportation options, buses. They want to see more spending in the rural areas, and it's coming to a clash. These sides seemingly can't agree. They've been trying to negotiate for several years to see what kind of spending plan on a future Measure C should the voters approve, and they're having a hard time doing that.
Now, former County Supervisor Steve Brandow is now getting involved, and how is he and who's he working for?
Well, he has been hired by the Central Valley Community Foundation. It's one of the top nonprofits in the area, and they want to see this get passed, but they don't want to see these competing groups try having two different Measure C bills on the ballot, because I think everybody agrees if there's two Measure C bills on the ballot, both of them will likely fail. So they hired Steve Brandow, the former Fresno County supervisor, and he is going to try to negotiate with both sides to find some kind of compromise to get these sides together to agree on one bill. And Central Valley Community Foundation says if they get one bill, they will help get it on the ballot, whether it means paying to help get signatures on the ballot. And by the way, they would need about 21,000 signatures to get it either on the June 2026 or November 2026 ballot. And they will help, for the campaigning. They said only one bill, not two. And if you can't negotiate, you can't compromise, then we're out.
Now, Measure C failed back in 2022 and then wasn't even on the ballot back in 2024. So what will happen if that takes place again?
Yeah, because there's infighting or X-fighting, if you want to say. They couldn't get it passed. It did actually receive 58% of the vote in 2022, but you needed 2/3. And in 2024, they just couldn't negotiate what it should look like. So that happens again. If they can't even get it on the ballot, then all this money, you're talking about billions of dollars at stake, will not be available for local governments to help pay for roads. That means these local cities don't have to do it their own way. You're gonna have to find a way to replace all this money, and all that extra money, these matching funds from state and federal grants, those go away too. Steve Brandow told me yesterday, if this happens, then you might as well go down to the Lowe's and get your own asphalt kit and patch your own potholes. It's gonna be a lot costlier for taxpayers to try to do it themselves, especially if there's no matching money that's gonna be coming.
A lot of clarification there. David Taub with GV Wire. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wire Wednesday and give us clarification on the status of Measure C.
Carl, just go to gvwire.com. You can get these stories originally first and without a paywall.
Sounds great. Great day. We'll be right back.